right, we are good to go now. Welcome to another episode of Unbuttoned. We've got Anton,
Hey.
hairdresser extraordinaire.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to say it that way. Yeah, hairdresser extraordinaire. Yes.
Yeah. How long you been hairdressing for? I'll just get you to move that mic so it's like no further down. Come down. Yeah, just there. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. 25 years.
Wow.
In hairdressing. I know. Jeez. It's funny. People ask how long I've been hairdressing for, and I'm like, yeah, 25, somewhere around there. And then it's like, wow, I've experienced like 3 21st birthdays.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What made you want to like get into hairdressing?
Love working with my hands.
Yeah.
Right. I'm finding, especially when I first started hairdressing, like way back in like 1999, everything was getting taken over by computers.
Yeah.
Like wanted to become a cartoonist, a graphic designer, but I didn't want to sit in front of a screen like all day and just, and my sister's like, hey, there's a salon up the road. You should totally do it.
Yeah.
And this is like me back in school, like bit of a hippie, buffy head, never even paid attention to my appearance. And I'm like, really? Like, and she was like, what's the worst that can happen? So, yeah.
So you're blaming your sister?
I'm thanking my sister.
Yeah.
I'm thanking my sister. She really brought me forward, and I was always that bit of that shy guy, and it just opened my world.
Yeah.
I was like, got into a salon, and I'm like, why are people putting foil in their hair? What's going on? It's like
tin hats.
And
the conspiracy theorists.
Right? And then the overgrown condoms with the tip caps coming out. And I'm just like, what? Is this hairdressing? Like, It really blew me away. Like, I was like a little fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is really cool. And just wanted to keep going and moving forward from there. And rest is history.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Just kept going.
You would have had like lots of like conversations with lots of really interesting clients, right?
Yeah. The list is. I can write a book, mate. You know what? I can write a trilogy. Like,
you should write a book.
Yeah. So many people say write a book, or they're like, you know what? Like, we should just have an interview example and just say some like stories, but change the names. And I'm like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Confidentiality, right?
Yeah. Hey, just hang on. I'm just going to close these blinds because we've got way too much light.
Yeah. All good, man. All good.
Like I get a lot of really good natural light in here.
Yeah.
But doing a podcast.
It's just glare. Yeah.
That's good now.
Awesome.
So what's been like the most frequent or regular kind of like hairstyle or hair trends that kind of like come through?
As in today, or something that has stand the test of time, or
Let's go stand the test of time.
Stand the test of time. All right. You know what? Like, I'm finding color work usually is the thing that stands the test of time.
Yeah.
It just goes around in circles, and either it's the same thing you're doing, it's just slightly changed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want highlights. I want a balayage. It's still technically highlights, but just with regrowth. And it's an interesting thing how things just evolve around in a circle and then meet full circle again.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can really explain it. Jennifer Aniston from Friends, perfect example. It's like everyone wanted the Rachel haircut. right? And then no one wanted the Rachel haircut. And
Did you find that annoying? Because you were like, nah, Phoebe's where it's all at.
well, reading my mind. Yeah. It was all Jennifer Aniston. And then Sliding Doors came out. Everyone wanted Gwyneth Paltrow. Even Brad Pitt wanted Gwyneth Paltrow's haircut. So that's the way I just see things. I'm like, yeah, cool. Now the 90s are back in a big way. And people are asking for the Jennifer Aniston look without saying the Jennifer Aniston look.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. So you want the Friends look from right?
Yeah.
You know?
They're probably like, oh, never seen Friends before.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because
yeah.
that hit me. Yeah. So that's as for trends. That's what I'm finding. What stands the test of time? Things change but come back. Things change but come back.
I suppose that's kind of like with everything though, right? Like in the creative space, because what I find is that like everything's already been done.
Yes.
So either it goes through waves where things come back in trend, or things come back and people like recreate what's already been done, or they like recreate it with like a little bit of their own characteristic, and it kind of like adapts or changes ever so slightly.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that like I love about photography is this piece around looking at an image, and I take a lot of inspiration from photographers that are overseas, and I look at these photos, look at these images, and I really kind of like analyze it and critique it and try to work out the techniques that we used, or like where the lighting is, if there's like natural or artificial, like how many lights they've got, like where's the camera in perspective to, you know, the subject or whatever. And then really try to use that information, because I have an image in my head on what looks good, use those particular characteristics, but then throw in a different aspect that's like Andrew's aspect, you know?
Yeah.
And that way it kind of makes the image like unique to me.
Totally agree.
And that's that, like as I said, that's the great thing about the creative space, is that you can create anything that you want because it's all about perspective, right?
Well, there's no rules.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess I totally agree with you. Like everyone's got a signature look that people will eventually recognize and be like, oh, that's Andrew's work.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing more fulfilling knowing that a complete random person can be like, oh, I recognize your work, and you, as an artist, you're just like, oh my God, like, thank you. Like you just feel grateful for it. And hairdressing's so similar. Like it. Quick funny story. Like I used to cut this guy's hair back in the day at Southland of all places, and I used to have this specific look I did on people. This is like early 2000s, especially for guys, like the David Beckham sort of mohawk vibe at the time.
Yeah, I used to have that.
Yeah, right.
And then I did the reverse.
Yes,
the reverse.
You shaved the top.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh wow. It's so like that. It's and so I used to like do this specific look on someone, and always put like a feature of color just to make it pop, right?
Yeah.
Just like off to the left, off to the right. And then one of my clients was telling me, I was in the line at the movies, right? And this random guy came up to me and said, "Does Anton cut your hair?" And he's like, "What?" And he goes, "Like my hairdresser's name's Anton, and I swear, like he cuts your hair because we've got a similar look." And he's like, "Yes, he's my hairdresser." So to hear that story back from a complete stranger walking up to him, I'm like, I'm taking that as a compliment. Like, that is awesome.
That really signifies the like that signature look that you've got, that you created.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And all it had was just one little bit of color just to sneak out. And that was it. And it's like, that's Anton's haircut.
It's actually like when I hear stories like that, it's almost this piece around like you go you work creatively to, you know, create your signature look, your signature pieces, And then when you hear things like that, what you've actually done is like you've penetrated culture. You've penetrated people's ideas or, you know, kind of images within culture, and they're recognizing them.
It's great.
And then to get that feedback as well is kind of like, this is why you fucking do it.
It really gets me going.
Yeah.
It really, I mean, once you get to know your job, cool, you know, but the relationship that you build and the happiness that you give to people is what makes you successful. Like, I don't care if like how much money I'm making a week. It's not about that. It's about making people happy. And it's a big mental health issue. Like, people have a bad haircut. It's the end of the world, mate. It's literally the end of the world. Like,
I know.
You know, like, and it's for you to put that smile on someone's face and that trust they trust you that much that when they come in the next time, they don't even ask what they want. They'll just be like, you do you. It's like, it's your hair, I live in it. That's one of the best quotes I've ever gotten. And I'm like,
it's your hair, I live in it.
yeah.
Do you get clients come in and say that?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. It's like, do whatever you like, free reign. Yeah, and then I'm like, anything you don't want? No, let's do it.
Wow.
And that's deep down. I'm like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm like, no, like I've been doing, I don't know, Amy's hair for like 15 years. Like,
yeah,
let's have fun. She'll tell me.
It's it really goes to show how passionate you are in like your field. If you have people that have been coming to see you for 15 years and that they are so trusting in what you do, like that's fucking phenomenal, man.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I love saying, and this is to everyone, even if I don't even know you, is you're not my client. You're not here just to get a haircut. We're a couple of mates catching up. And the bonus is you walk out feeling great. And that I live by that. That's I don't want you to feel like you're a number. Like, I'm going to remember the conversation we're going to have. And next time you come in, we're going to continue from that conversation. It's not going to be like, ooh, nice weather today. It's going to be more generic and more personal. And people will appreciate that. At the end of the day, when you get that trust, it's from there. Like, sky's the limit. And that's what really brings me out as a hairdresser. If I can't relate with that, like, I've had to divorce clients, and it's a mental health thing. So, I mean, you can give someone the diamond ring, it's not big enough, you know. So it plays with your emotions a bit, but if you've been in the middle, it's amazing. It's a relationship it's a big bond, and you see your clients more than people see family. You know,
well, they're spending hours in your salon, right?
Exactly.
Like, how long? What's the average time?
Big makeover, you can be anything between 4, 6, 8 hours. That's a big makeover. That's like I want to change my look, and this is what it's going to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
8 hours.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. You're with that person for 8 hours. There's only so many coffees you can give them.
Yeah.
You know? So, and that's the thing. You build that trust, and it just goes on from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, so you touched on the piece there, I think, about like building relationships, you know, and the ability to build relationships quickly, as well as acknowledge, you know, certain signs where you have to like divorce the relationship or, you know, cut the client off and all that type of stuff, right? So like having good people skills is not only about being able to talk to people and being able to listen to people, but it's also being able to read cues and understand where the red flags are, and then also be able to put plans in place to mitigate, you know, the risks or the issues, because your own mental health is, you know, it's important, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% spiritual, but I believe I am a bit of an empath. And when you touch someone, you really feel what they're feeling.
Mm.
So if they're having a bad day, regardless of what you do to them, you're going to get that.
Mm.
And bouncing back to a client straight after that, who's a brand new vibe, it's
hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, and that's what I mean by mental health. It's sort of almost like, all right, cool, and I'm open with my clients.
Mm.
I would tell them. They're like, "Oh, you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, just drained a bit. I'm all good. Let's just keep going." You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and people respect that.
Yeah.
Better than holding it in and then going home, like just listening to like death metal on the way home, just being like, "Ah!" you know?
We will get on to music because you mentioned that you're a musician.
Yeah.
But the empath thing, I totally understand because I'm definitely an empath.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the kind of skills that I've had since I was really young, which I never really knew how to use, was like I can see people's auras.
Yep.
And so being able to, I guess, help influence and change someone's aura in order to get the right photo or to get those moments, during a photo shoot, is one of those skills that I've just kind of like developed and finessed and fine-tuned. And, as a result, like I was thinking, I think it was about 3 years ago, someone just like randomly messaged me and they were like, "Hey, how do you get those girl next door photos?" And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, "Oh, you really focus on capturing girl next door." And I said, I don't know if I do or if it was unintentional, but like, okay.
Right.
And so that's what people come to me for. Like they come to me for the girl next door photos, like
Yep.
type thing. But yeah, so it's definitely, and the most number of shoots that I've done in one day, which all my shoots are approximately like 2 hours in time, is 5.
Yep.
5 shoots in one day was the maximum.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And I was just like drained, like, because that's a lot of energy that you take on. And being able to like manage your own like energy levels and how do you get like the right photos and like all that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, getting a model comfortable with you as well.
Yeah, well, that's why I have the cats.
Yes. Love it. Oh, that's awesome.
He is a real icebreaker, Larry. But like they're very energy driven as well, so they know like, all right, we need to come in now, or like we like stay away.
Love it.
Yeah, but yeah, like being an empath I think it's a blessing in disguise.
I take it as that too.
Mm.
I take it as that. It's like, have you ever had that moment where you think of someone and you haven't seen them in a while and you just hear from it?
Mm.
It's like, wow. Like I have a lot of that with my clients too.
Mm.
It's just like, I haven't heard from, I don't know, Sarah in a while. This morning, I got a text message. I need my hair done. I'm like, wow. You just become one with that person or with all the people and I find that extremely empathetic as well because you just get to know someone so well, and you would be the same with all your models that you'd look after, regardless how many shoots you've done with them. Like as soon as I would message you, you just know that vibe that they've got, and you're just like, cool.
Yeah, and it's this piece around. I always know that the second, third, and fourth shoot is just going to be even better and better and better because you build that relationship with them.
Well, that's it. They love you, you love them, and goes on from there. Yeah.
And that would happen with hair as well, right? Like,
oh, definitely. Like hairdressing, like I've done countless shoots for being the hairdresser for him.
Yeah.
And there's specific models, like as soon as I get a call, I will drop everything to be like, I'm going to work on that shoot.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted to work with you, or I've worked with you so many times that, yes, I'm coming to Queensland. See you soon. And yeah, okay, I don't have the money to do it, but I do it because it makes you feel good and they're going to be comfortable with you.
Yeah.
And that's, once again, rewarding.
Yeah.
And,
it's we're getting real deep here.
We are.
It's soul fulfilling
Yes.
because like you do stuff knowing that it's gonna fill your soul up with so much reward and recognition that it's that feeling that drives you to continue on and do more.
Yes.
Mm.
And that's, we need a drive, right?
Mm.
We do need a drive. Otherwise, we're just working and working and working. And I see so many people doing that and they hate their day job.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, they just, they loathe it. They loathe it.
It's. I know I'm in a really unique situation. However, if there's one advice that I can try to impart on people who are stuck, they need to develop the I don't fucking care mentality and just do it.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
don't worry about what people think. Don't worry about, all these what if scenarios. Just fucking do it.
Yeah. It's a Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Just do
Yeah.
it. I have that in my head all the time. Like, why am I holding back? Why am I holding back? And we all doubt ourselves.
Yeah.
It's that fear of stepping forward.
Yeah. That's right.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't work out. Cool. We're human. We can figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we're blaming your sister for getting you
Yes.
into hairdressing. Have you always lived in Melbourne?
I have. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Melbourne, born and bred. Greek background. Parents migrated here back in the 70s. Dad's as Aussie as they come, as much as he's Greek.
Yeah.
But born and raised, bred Melbourne. Yeah.
And do you like travel a lot for like hairdressing work or like?
Pre-COVID, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. As much as I could. I work for myself, being self-employed. So renting a chair in a salon, you have the benefits of like having your own hours. You're not stuck to a business module. So yeah, I have done that. I've Sydney, Queensland, Perth, countless of times. Overseas, not yet. Closest thing for it, because I've looked after a lot of musicians. That's what got me into more of the creative field of photo shoots. Being a musician myself, and all of my friends being musicians, or majority of them, once they get successful, they're doing photo shoots, they're doing music videos. Anton, what are you doing? So
that's so fucking cool.
It's fucking awesome. It is fucking awesome. Like, I'm not kidding. And like one of them made it to America, got signed, blah, 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 came back for an Australian tour. And then they're like, hey, do you want to come on tour with us and just be our hairdresser? Because it was a female lead singer. So I'm like, fuck yeah. So all of a sudden I'm on tour with Hailstorm. Obviously they're opening up for him, but I'm like, that's amazing. Like just meeting all these amazing people. And then just all of a sudden you build a name for yourself. Another band will reach out going, you're Anton. You do so-and-so's hair from that band. Can you do my hair? And then males reach out.
It's word of mouth. It's word of mouth.
You can't beat it. You can't beat it. And yeah, so that's the best I've done with traveling. And I'm very fortunate that I could do that. I was so happy that I could actually do that. I'm like, wow, like having this opportunity as a solo hairdresser, not a big shot owning a expensive salon, someone who's just self-made to get that. I'm like,
I fucking love that, man.
I love it.
I love that you're self-made and that you've, like we spoke before about, your hairstyles getting recognized by other people. I'm like...
You build yourself. You're just slowly... I guess you're like building a legacy in a way, like without realizing you are. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm quite humble and be like, oh yeah, that was cool. Thank you. But
when you walked in, the first thing I thought was, he's humble.
Just chill.
Yeah.
Just, like what you see is what you get. Yeah. I'm just like, we are who we are. And if you try to be someone else, you're going to get why. Like Instagram versus reality. I'm both. I'm reality. Reality with reality.
I try to be both. But when I have, there was one post I did and it was like behind the scenes shots of me. And the caption was, how many times do I touch my badonkadonk? Right?
Yep.
But every fucking comment I had was about my hair.
I love that. I love that.
And I'm like, what is fucking going on here? I'm like, you know.
Oh, so good. So good.
But yeah, like I definitely put a lot of myself online, and I think it's real important for photographers to do that. You know why? Because then people know who you fucking are, and they know who they're working with.
Yes.
Don't hide behind an image or someone or a photo that you've taken. Like actually put a photo of yourself. You know.
Yeah, I love your stories. Like, I see your Instagram stories, and I'm just like, holy shit, I so vibe with that. I'm like, that is fucking awesome. I totally get it. I totally get it.
But like, I'm also an idiot, right? Because I just like, you know, like, so one of my core principles, pretty much in life, is that people will always remember you based on the way you made them feel.
Yes.
Right. So when I do a photo shoot, and like when I started off, I was always like, you know, let's just have fun and kind of like I get to know people and like all that type of stuff. And so my measure of success was always like, how much did we laugh? Like, did we laugh about lots of things? Was the conversation good? Was it free flowing? Like, did they open up and like tell me stuff about themselves and things like that? And then I focused on developing the quality of the photos. And so, you know, like, because I can do both things now, I always know that like the word of mouth element will come into it because they had a good time. They're going to get great photos, but they had a good time. And
I love that.
You know, like they tell their friends or they tell their family, and like next thing you know, I've got like inquiries and all that type of stuff, right?
And the ball keeps rolling. The ball keeps rolling.
And the ball keeps rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's what you don't want it to stop. Just let it roll. Who cares where it goes, what direction it goes in? It's rolling. It's great. That's how I got a hold of you, was through one of your clients or through one of your models.
Yeah.
Totally random.
Yeah.
And
that is random.
yeah, love it. I love it. And it was one thing I remember her saying is he is such an awesome guy that like I went over to do a shoot and he even cooked dinner. And I'm like, oh my God, that is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, that's what made her remember you on how comfortable. And she goes, I don't do a lot of this sort of work, but I do with Andrew. And I'm just like, he's awesome.
That's fucking cool. I know who it is now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I bet you do.
She's amazing.
She's awesome, isn't she? Yeah.
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 Yeah. Wow. That's just.
Yeah. And like me just hearing that, and I was just like, I've got to meet this guy because he lives right near you. I'm like, I've got to meet this guy. So, yeah.
And here we are.
Right?
And like, when I finally decide to do something with my hair, I know who I'll be coming to.
Oh, mate.
But
it's luscious.
It's
long.
It's
awesome.
It's so long.
It's so good.
I did. I can't seem to get it past this bit here though. So I don't know. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. You just need a trim.
Yeah,
and then it will grow.
Yeah. Just a trim. Just a trim. So what type of music are you into?
Like, wide variety. If I would have to say what sort of music, everything from like, as long as there's lyrics in it, and just good old get the guitar and just play. Like mostly rock. Biggest influences are like, say, In Excess. Like,
you got that In Excess look about you.
Everyone says it, and I take
Michael
it.
Hutchins.
I love it. I'll take that. I'll take the Michael. I'll take the Michael. We do a lot of In Excess. We'll get back to that, but it is a big influence. But then there's Elvis, and then there's Freddie Mercury. So, and people say, what's your music like? I'm like, okay, if Freddie Mercury, Michael Hutchins, and Elvis had a threesome and somehow had a baby, like a crazy baby, like we would be that craziness.
Yeah.
Like, because it's a bit everywhere. We're like, yeah, we'll go for that 50s rock and roll vibes. Like, but no, we got to be sexy. But no, we have to have meaningful lyrics. Boom, boom, boom. And that's what I'm into. Like, if I hear like this beat, the lyrics could be shit. But if I hear like this awesome guitar solo or drum beat, I'm like, I love this song. I love this song, you know? And that's what really brings me into it. I love that's where the music comes in.
So do you play in a band?
Yes.
What's the band called?
All right, 2 bands. Cover band called Antonymous.
Yeah.
And
I know the person who the band is named after.
yeah,
But anyway.
yeah. It's there's a story behind that, and I'm not the one who named it. That's the best part of it.
Really?
No. I mean, really, yes. But the quick story was we were a cover band, and we're just constantly playing around St Kilda, but mostly around southeast. And whenever people would put us in the bill, they're like, "What is your band name?"
Yeah.
Because we got sick of writing Anton, Mike, Ryan, blah, blah, all the time.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, we just got to think of a name. And one day we're just drinking, and I'm like, well, I love that song, Mystify. Why don't we just have like that sort of mysterious sort of vibe? Like, what's another word for mystify? And we're like, oh, something similar to that. So we're thesaurusing. I can't pronounce that word. We're looking up words, and like antonyms came up, like the opposites of everything. And I'm like, that's so us. We're all opposite. And it's like, let's work with that. And then our guitarist is just like, what, like antonymous? And I'm like, yes.
Nice.
And then it would just turn into antonymous. And everyone's like, of course you like it. I'm like, yeah, of course I like it. And that's what it's going to be. Yeah, so that's the cover band called Antonymous, which is the music I explained before. And then obviously after doing covers, you get sick of it. And like, why don't we try writing? Why don't we actually try getting creative and doing our own stuff? Because we're getting old and no one wants to see dads on stage dancing around.
You're not that old.
Oh, trust me with the musicians out there at the moment, like kick-ass musicians starting in their 20s, musicians starting in their mid-30s, where we finish a gig, we want to go home. You know, I'm like, I'm tired.
That's not such a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but you get other musicians like, oh, let's go out. We'll do this, we'll do that. I'm like, yeah, cool, but I've got to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So anyway, we turned into this other band called House of L. I'm a big Superman fan, like bit of a nerd here. It's got nothing to do with Superman because everyone's like, oh, House of L, of course it is good to do. Like Superman. I'm like, no, we were all watching Desperado one time with like Antonio Banderas on how cool he looked walking around with these like gun guitar case and all that. And there was this one part in the movie where they're like, his name is L. And we're just like, hey, we should be called House of L. Like, yeah, totally. And that was the inspiration where we've all of a sudden started making our own music. And yeah, we've only got about 8 originals. We're finally on Spotify, but we got there. And I mean, yeah, cool. Like if we get it further, we can. If not, we're just there having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool, man.
It's just random. All randomness. Everything just always comes together and nothing's ever planned. Like,
there's definitely something in the random like effect, I think, and like because like yes, you can like plan stuff to a T to try to like achieve goals, but I think there's a piece around being in love with like the process or the journey that you go through, and then things just happen.
Yeah,
and you can't explain why or how or you know
exactly.
And so yeah, like I'm not honestly like I've only met you 35 minutes ago, and I can already tell like I'm not surprised.
Well, thank you.
That things have happened.
I've always been a disorganized person. That's a big part of me. Like I'm organized when it comes to things I need to do, but I'm a professional procrastinator. Like if that was a job title, like I would ace it. Like I'm sure a lot of us are. Like there's that point in time, it's like, oh, this assignment's due tomorrow. Oh, that's all right. I don't need to sleep. I can do this now. Like that was me in high school.
Yeah.
And a part of me's come into adulthood with that. But whenever it just all happens, like it randomly comes into one and it's like, this is working. This is working. Let's just keep going with it. Like if I stop this now, I'm just going to break my vibe. So, I mean, I guess it's a creative vibe of it. Like your creativity, it doesn't stop. And that's where I'm sometimes in my own head being like, oh, well, that didn't work out. This will work out. Like, always look at it. I'm an optimist. Bring on the bright side. It's fine. It's fine. Like,
Mm.
yeah.
So were you always an optimist?
Yeah. Always. I always live on a bit of hope.
Yeah.
It's the best way I can put it. Like, I mean, yeah, I guess.
Did you like go through like some traumatic things when you were younger and you're like, I'm gonna be okay, or like were you always
I think with things like not really traumatic things when I think it's just a life journey.
Yeah.
Everyone's got some trauma in their life.
Yeah.
And I've always looked up to positive things. And that's what's always tried to mold me. I've always tried to stay positive. I've been in relationships where like you're just too positive.
Mm.
And I'm like, isn't that it? That's not a bad.
I don't understand that comment.
Yeah,
You're too positive.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Does that mean that relationship ended?
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah. But that's but that's what I mean.
That's just crazy.
When you get stuff like that, when people saying,
Mm.
"Oh, you're just too positive," and it's like, but of course I am. Someone's got to be. You're
Mm.
not. So I'm trying to lift you up. You know. So I've never put myself first. I've always put someone else first.
Mm.
Same with hairdressing. Like, yeah, cool. I'm in this weird position trying to cut your hair, and I can feel every part of my back about to break, but I don't care. I'm going to finish off that haircut, and then I will just pay for it later. Like, I don't know. I bought that.
That's how I feel when I'm doing a shoot with a fucking gimbal that's like got that feels like it's 7 kg or like 8 kg, and I'm like, oh my god, my back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, but it's
And then my fucking golfer's elbow kind of like flares up, and I was like, bro.
yeah.
It's all about. I think like knowing what your ailments are and going, you know what? No, I can just like push through that. But then like recovery, like a couple of days later, is like,
Yeah. We're one for punishment. We're one for punishment. Like on Thursday, I did shoulder day at the gym. Right. That's usually my Thursday routine.
yeah,
My first client had hair past her ass, which I love her to bits. She's an amazing client, but she's got hair for days.
that's a lot of hair.
And loves it super smooth. So that blow wave, constantly moving my arms and doing this. I'm like, why did I do shoulders? I knew I had her in. Why did I do shoulders? Why did I do shoulders? And the next day, I'm just like, let's think of my two legs.
It was obviously some sort of like subconscious like thinking around, okay, you've got that client in, oh, maybe we should do shoulders to test yourself and see how far your shoulders can go.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Like
back to the optimist. Like I definitely think that like seeing the brighter side of things or being a happy individual is definitely like a choice. It's a choice that you make every day.
Yes.
You know, as you said before, like, you know, people will have trauma in their life or they'll be going through something, all of that. But I think we have to take responsibility in making sure that we put things in place to manage our own mental health, but also manage our own happiness as well. You know, like it's like you can always see something from a bad, negative perspective, but what's the learning from it? The learning is the positive side of things, you know, and like,
yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's even the most positive of people eventually fall.
Yeah.
Like I guess one thing that really got me motivated to become more optimistic is, of all things, a quote from Rocky, the movie.
Yeah.
Like, and I got that obsessed with that quote that I see it in Way of Life. Like, I'm like, Sylvester Stallone, you're a genius. Like, and it's just all about moving forward. It's about how hard you get hit, get pushed, keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Just like it's a dark place and people will push you, but just keep going. And if you have that just in your mind, you can help. And I'm a person who wants to help other people. I try to bring that out. And that's in every aspect. It can be very subtly. It can be through cutting someone's fringe if they've never had a fringe. It can be through singing a song to someone and hitting them. Like, you know, it's just, and that's where I see optimism. That's the best way I can explain it. Yes, it's from a movie, but it really hit me. I was like, wow, it hit me so much. I got it tattooed on me. Like, that's how, that's how much I believe in that quote. It's great. I like, so,
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people want to feel that way. And there's too much darkness in the world, and you need people to help bring out.
Yeah, there is. So I agree. I think people do want to feel that way, and I do think there is a lot of darkness in the world, and we get stuck on ruminating on what that darkness is, and you can get stuck in this like vortex, right? Like the wrong analogy, but the YouTube wormhole. Like you get stuck in a wormhole, you're gone for 3 hours minimum, right?
Oh, and it feels like 3 minutes.
Yeah. But like, you can definitely get stuck and harbor on like the negative side of things.
Yes.
You know, do you know who Andrew Huberman is?
I know the name. I don't know why I know that name.
Neurobrain scientist. Like he's got his own. He's got his own podcast. He's been on Joe Rogan and all of that.
Yeah.
So there's a clip where he talks about it's been scientifically proven there's a spot in the brain. Don't quote me where it is, but there's a spot in the brain that helps to God, I'm really going to fuck this up. Helps to provide like people with the ability to push through struggle. And what they find is that if someone consistently puts them in a struggled state, that space in their brain grows.
Yeah.
So I think like the example he was using like cold plunges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like cold plunges are fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Like nobody wants to get in that cold plunge.
Yeah.
But once you get in and you've done your 3 minutes, day 2 of doing the cold plunge is a little bit easier. Day 3 is a little bit easier. Day 4, day 5, day 40, day 60 is easier because you know how good you're going to feel like afterwards, right?
It's true. I do that. I'm a witness of it. I feel it. Yeah.
So if you put yourself in like struggle town situations, but you know that it's going to be good for you, like in the end, like then you build this mentality, this mental toughness of just fucking do this.
Yeah.
You know, like just push through, like the Rocky quote.
It's true. It's true. And it's funny you say that because I think a lot of people hit it during COVID again, not to bring it up because I hate bringing it up, but everyone hit a pinnacle. And one thing that got me through it is I did beach dips every single day for 6 whole months. I was just every morning, night. I wouldn't care what time it was. I wouldn't care if it was 10 at night. Like just go in. And it's amazing. I started missing it when I stopped doing it. I woke something up in me and I'm like, oh my God, like why aren't I doing this anymore? It's like, that's right, I'm working again. But it was amazing how it made me feel. And I still do it on the occasional, not to that extreme. But you're right, it hits this part of your brain. I mean, you go to the gym, it's a bit like when you're working out and you're like, just one more rep. Like as much as you're in so much pain and then, I just take the PB. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
There's not only the cold plunge for doing a beach dip, but again, Andrew Huberman talks about another thing, particularly with the beach.
Yep.
Is that when you go to the beach, you actually earth yourself.
Yes. I love this thing.
In the sand. And it's that earthing that kind of like helps relieve all the negative ions that are in your body.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why it feels so good.
That's great. That's why I love living in this area. I can't move out of it. I need the beach. You know, it's just, you feel alive. I love that. Yes, he's true. He's a genius.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like there's just so much information available, like on podcasts and like
Oh,
listening to people talk about their areas of expertise. And
it's
I guess it's one of the reasons why I'm doing this
that's it.
because I get to fucking meet some really cool people.
Well, that's it. Exactly right. You just connect, and it opens up another part of you.
Yeah,
Like and you soak in what you want to soak in. It's
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I agree with you, 100%.
Tattoos. Tell me about your tattoos.
Random. Random. Tattoos. Oh.
Your favorite tattoo? What was your first tattoo?
My first tattoo. Oh, okay. How PG is this?
Not very
Not
PG.
very awesome. All right. Well, I got my first tattoo down. You probably can't see it, but down in here
Okay.
of a Hardogram logo. So one of my all-time favorite bands is a band called Him from Finland, and Bam Margera from Jackass brought them out to the public mostly. They were popular there, but obviously brought them to the US. And I just fell in love with that logo. It's a heart with a triangle in the middle of it. Fell in love with the music. I was like, holy crap, these guys are great. So I'm like, the lead singer had that tattoo.
Yeah,
Bam
right.
Margera had that tattoo. And I'm just like, I'm about to see him live for the first time. I need that tattoo.
Does he have it there as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah. And that was my first tattoo. I've never had
Twinsies.
I've never had a guy so close to me down there working on so much detail.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I'm like, okay, if I can handle one right there as my first tattoo, I can do this. And you get the itch. You get yeah, right. You get the itch. You get addicted. And but every tattoo tells a story, right? As I said earlier, I'm a big Superman fan. My whole half army has got to do with my favorite Superman comic, which is A Death and Return of Superman. And I somehow feel that's like it's a rebirth, you know? So, and I sometimes feel myself that way. I feel like I'm a rebirth. I help people and I just keep trying to move forward, things like that. Then this arm's just a creative arm where I just like everything. So for an example, I have Elvis. I've got I've got Prince. I've got just things that really mean a lot to me for some reason. And just why not? Why not?
It's wow. Like I just fucking
It's
just yeah, I fucking knew it, man. I knew when I saw you downstairs. I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good podcast. I could just fucking tell.
I was just like, what should I bring? I've never done a podcast before, you know. It's like,
a lot of people haven't done a podcast when they've come here, so it's kind of like, you know.
Yeah, like
I mean, I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just like having fun time doing it.
Well, that's it. I mean, I saw your YouTube clips and everything. I'm like, okay, everyone's just having a good time. I'm sure. And you're just bring your body. I'm like, I can do that. Yeah. So good.
Yeah, like the transformation thing. So yes, I agree. You get the itch.
Yeah.
And yeah, my current project. So this design here. I've got my whole leg sleeve done.
Fantastic.
Which is a Japanese rocks and water with the flowers.
Love it.
And I'm currently getting my back done.
I've seen on your socials. Oh my God.
So that's a dragon. And then once that's done, we're going to do my ribs. So same design here.
Yep.
And then that'll complete the overall design of the mythology of transformation. So I've got like a little koi on my shin, and then I'll get like a slightly larger koi like on my ribs, because the koi's traveling up against the current through the rocks in the water to transform into the dragon.
Fantastic. I love that.
Because I've like transformed myself probably about 5 or 6 times in my life. And like change is a constant. Like it's always been part of who I am and what I do, and then now with my photography, like I help transform other people because I show them a different side to themselves.
Yeah,
You know, like women will come to me and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't like this, I don't like that," and then I focus on taking photos, showing them that particular side, and they're like, "Oh, wow, like that's amazing." Like I had a friend come here once, and she was like, "Oh, I don't like." I always ask her a series of questions.
Yeah.
One of those questions is, "What's your least favorite like body part? You know, something that you don't like." And she was
Fair.
like, "Oh, I really don't like my hips."
Cool.
So we're upstairs, up against the mirror,
Mm-hmm.
and I took this shot. And once she saw the shot, she was like, "Holy shit, that's actually my favorite photo of the whole shoot."
I love that.
And it's like, yeah, so just the
Yeah.
power of like being able to show someone else,
Yeah.
you know, a different side.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
But I get it, right? Like, because we've lived in our bodies our whole lives, and we've gone through and experienced everything our whole lives, right? And we've done that through our own perspective. Yet, when you get someone taking a photo of you from a different perspective, you get to see a different side. And so that's where that whole transformation piece comes in.
Yeah.
Because if I can change people's perspectives or perceptions of themselves, like everybody's beautiful.
Yes.
Everybody has something to offer. Everybody should be happy with where they are. You know, like I get that there's different environmental or
I know what
other
you
stuff that like
Yeah.
impacts, but you know, so yeah, so that's why I do what I do. You know.
Yeah. That and I love every aspect of that. That's so similar to my job as well. Like
And my first tattoo was a Superman tattoo on my ankle.
no.
It was only this big, but
Yeah.
I obviously had it covered up with my leg sleeve. So I'm like, I say to people, "Oh, my leg sleeve is a cover up." They're like, "Oh my god, like it's so big. What was your tattoo?" I'm like, "A little Superman."
Love that. Oh, that is awesome.
The cover up kind of went a little bit overboard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what happens, right? It's exactly what happens. Like I haven't had I had a tattoo like 3 weeks ago, but prior to that, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And that was to get a fix up done from a different tattooist.
Mm.
And now that like my original tattooist has done this on me, I'm like, oh, now I'm just going to have to continue it. And then I'm like, grr. I'm not angry, but I am.
Yeah, because it's like it's painful getting it done, but for me, it's cathartic.
Yes.
Cathartic from the point of view of watching it heal and like the care that you have to take of it, like afterwards,
Oh,
and then being able to see the final product.
it's so true. It's so
know.
true. You're just like, the first time you have a shower, you're like, oh, I've scratched it off. But it's like, it's on me for life.
It's just peeling. It's just peeling. It's going through the peel phase.
It's so funny. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, we're a canvas, right?
Yeah.
We are. And it, as I said earlier, it tells a story. Yours is about transformation and it means a lot to you. And I get it. I get it. Like everyone's got their own things, their own quirks, their own everything.
I've got a Sumatran tiger on my chest.
Yep.
For my grandmother,
Love it.
because she was from Sumatra. My
Yep.
mum's from Sumatra.
Yep.
And then the tribal sleeve was the first sleeve that I had, but I actually had like a wave because so the Superman tattoo and the wave armband.
Oh, the classic wave band. Yeah.
I got in Perth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then when I wanted to get this sleeve done, I was like, okay, we just need to like design something that kind of either can go with a wave, but is also really tribal. And
Yep.
so this particular arm, I guess, is just like representative of like the different kind of like lives that I've lived and like the experiences that I've had and things like that. And then this side is the whole transformation.
Love it.
They kind of like go in hand, but like slightly different at the same time.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And as you said, it's addictive. Eventually, it's like, how much more room do I have?
not the neck or the face. That's
That's off limits. Yeah.
off limits.
Yeah.
Off limits. Although I have been thinking about like in
Little lip one?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally.
The I don't know if I'm gonna get it there, but or I might get it on this side of the chest. But so my mate that's on the fridge.
Yes.
So my best mate. So his 2-year wedding anniversary is coming up on Friday.
Yes.
He would have been married for 2 years.
Okay.
But 2 weeks after his wedding anniversary is when he passed away. He passed away on his honeymoon.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
And he passed away. He had a cardiac arrest in his sleep. And I remember getting the phone call from his wife, who had never spoken to me on the phone, like it's always in person.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just gone in his sleep. 6 months later, the autopsy report came back. He had myocarditis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, God.
And so for his birthday that year, I went to Bendigo with my other good mate from Perth.
Yeah.
And his parents, like they're Buddhist, but they went and saw a spiritual healer in Queensland, and the spiritual healer gave them like a deck of cards that had one word on each card, and the whole, I guess, approach was that they were to like take one card out of the deck, and that's the word that Christian was going to be telling them during the day, right?
Oh,
which is, you know,
I love that.
yeah, it's beautiful.
I love that. That's, yeah.
So we're in. So this was like September 2 years ago. We're in Bendigo. I've got like his mum, his dad, his sister, his 2 aunties, my best mate, and me. And his mum brings out this deck of cards. She like hands them round.
Yeah.
His aunt gets like love. My other good mate, he gets prosperity, and his mum says, "Oh, like we've seen all of these cards before."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. And then it gets to me,
Here we go.
and I pull a card out, and his mum says, "We've never seen that card before."
Wow.
Is the word surrender.
Wow. That could have so many meanings to it. So many meanings to it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that card still on my fridge above his photo.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time I was like super confused about what it meant. But I now know it is this whole piece around surrendering to, I think like the universe.
Yep.
You know, and surrendering to just going with the flow with whatever happens, because at the end of the day, things will kind of always work out. Surrender to the approach that I'm using from a photography point of view, from a creative point of view, you know, and yeah, and then interestingly, like 6 months later, his dad, I spoke to his dad, and his dad said, "Yeah, we went and saw a medium."
Okay.
And I was like, "Okay," and he was very skeptical. But like
usually are.
yeah, like I'm driving home and on the phone, and he goes, "Yeah, we actually spoke to Christian," and I'm like, "What?" Apparently, Christian was like saying to his dad, "Don't worry about me." He's like, "I'm having a good time. I'm sitting here having a Jameson.
Nice.
Like, you guys need to like get on with your life and like, don't worry, you know."
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I burst into tears, but then afterwards I was like, "The fuck? Why am I crying?
Of course you would.
Why am I crying so much for the loss of my mate when he's just told his dad that he's having a good time wherever he is in another dimension or somewhere else," right? And yeah, it's at that point I was like, okay, Like, I just need to like drive this thing home.
Yeah.
Drive everything that I've got, the passion,
Mm-hmm.
doing all the right things, and like we'll slowly kind of like progress and like get there, right?
I love that. It's so true. It's so true. And I think you were also crying is because there was that connection, and he's all right. In it, it was just that glimpse, that little light, and you're just like, I'm surrendering. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. That's so nice.
I think there's also this piece around, because I'm a self-taught photographer,
Mm-hmm.
like being confident in knowing what I'm trying to achieve and knowing my techniques and how I do things, and surrendering to just having that knowledge and being more confident.
Yeah.
And I know that he's with me every day, and he's fucking laughing the hell out of what the fuck
What are you doing?
these achievements that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm just like, I go through each day thinking to myself, man, the stories that I'm gonna have when I see him next, is just
amazing.
Yeah.
Just keep him piled up. Keep him piled up.
Yeah.
You need that Jameson with him.
Yeah, even though I don't drink, but anyway.
Well,
Yeah, I'll have a glass on his 2 year.
Yeah,
it's So for me, I think after I've done like all this, I might get surrender.
I think you should.
Yeah,
and just out of personally, I would do it here over here, which is awesome to get it done there, but closer to your heart. And he meant so much to you. That's where I would say to do it. It's just a reminder. Yeah. Wow, mate.
Fucking bastard.
Yeah. They do that to you. You have that one connection with someone, and it's life. It's past life. You just keep going with it.
Yeah.
Just keep going with it. So, wow. I love that. What a story.
Yeah.
What a story. Yeah.
I've gotten better at telling it. I don't feel so sad. I feel like there's a lot of stuff in that story that hits home for me,
Yeah.
and like just the sequence of events of how it happened. But yeah,
look,
we keep going on. We keep pushing on.
That's it.
Keep pushing that boundary. Keep pushing the creativity levels, and keep fucking meeting amazing people like you.
Exactly. Like one thing that stays with me is what my old man has always said is, we're all strangers to this world. We don't know when our time is up. Just go for it. And I love that. Like that's always stayed with me. My dad said that to me since I was a kid, and he still reminds me of it.
So he's still around?
He's still around, yeah.
Okay.
He's still going. War horses they are. But yeah, he just war horses, yeah. Just like, he's great. He's in his 70s. He's got heaps of years.
Yeah,
but
that's lucky, man.
But he's just explained. He's like, we're all strangers. It's like, why are you stopping? Just keep going. Similar thing to the Rocky quote. Keep moving forward. Like all these signs keep coming at me to keep moving forward. Like even with my hairdressing, I'm about to move forward to a creative space, which will be working with creatives, not just in hairdressing, in everything. Which it's amazing how far the industry is coming. It's not just a salon anymore. You can come in. There's a barista who can make you a coffee. There's tattoos in the back. There's going to be wall graffiti artists. There's going to be yoga on a Sunday. All this in the same space. It's going to be phenomenal. And I'm like, this is my next journey, my next step. So it's another career.
When's that happening?
Soon.
Okay.
Soon.
Okay.
I'll put it this way. It should have happened. Just a few pitchforks in the road, because that's business for you.
Yeah.
But
that happens.
But it will happen. Everyone working there will be their own boss, but we're all going to work together. And the place is going to be called Cray Cray.
Cray.
Creative and crazy.
Hey.
So
I like it.
Yeah. So keep an eye on Chapel Street. There is going to be something coming. Date is not official. people do know about it, but it's going to be fingers crossed next month. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
So
we'll hold out. I'll hold out to.
There'll be something. Definitely.
I was going to ask like, what have you got planned for like this year? But that sounds like a pretty fucking awesome initiative.
Yeah. I mean, I have been working in the same space for about 13 years and I can't grow anymore. And you hit a wall. You keep hitting a wall. So I'm like, what's the next step? Why am I scared to step? Now I'm stepping and going to go cray. So
it takes a lot of courage to like, one, acknowledge why you've been hitting a wall, but two, to put something in place.
Yeah.
You know, and put an idea into action, you know, and then actually execute on that, you know.
Well, do you ever hit an age of your life where you're like, shit, like I've been doing this for so long, and how long can I keep doing this for? Like physically, like mentally, you could keep going, but my job is very high in demand with body, and I've got to keep going. Like I've hit the point of like I've hit in my mid-40s, which is young, but it will take its toll. So I'm like, no, just keep going. Just keep going. Like I saw a story about a 96-year-old barber still cutting hair in America, and he used to cut the president's hair back in the day, and he's still going, and he's like 96 years old. I'm like, I probably wouldn't want him cutting my hair, but
crooked lines.
Yeah, cup one ear gone. It's all right, but no, but he's still going. You know.
Okay, Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Can't wait for that fight. But yeah, it's going to be like I'm not saying I want to keep going to 96, but it was so inspirational. I'm like, this guy still got a passion for it and he's loving it, and it was so like, yes, like I can't keep stopping. Keep going.
There is that saying around like retiring and giving up the job that you've got, and like if you don't find something else, what happens is you stop and you stall, and then you like degrade or degenerate.
Exactly.
Right? And so finding something that you love doing from a passion point of view and from a purpose perspective, and you can like make an impact on people's lives. That's probably why he's still going at like 96.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You find that one reason.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. And so next step will be creative space with creative people. Who knows where it can go from there, you know?
That is so cool.
And this is what I mean by random. Like, this was a random opportunity that came up. I wasn't looking for it. It just fell in my lap. And
like literally?
Literally fell in my lap.
What was her name?
Right? If only. No, but it's a small industry. That's in everything. Yeah. I'm like, everyone knows everyone in whatever job they're doing. Other photographers know photographers, models know models, hairdressers know hairdressers. And I've always been a big believer in don't make them an enemy, work with them, because you never know where you might need them or where they might need you. And that's how I found this place here. I worked with a girl called, I'm going to call her name's Trinity, amazing hairdresser. And she used to work with this guy who's going to open up this business. And for her to trust him, to rework with him, she reached out to me saying, Anton, like, this is amazing. Like, you should give this a shot. I only worked with her for 6 months. And I'm like, I just connected. And I'm like, you know what? I trust you. So, and if you trust him, I trust him. So, and that's how it's all worked. And now I didn't have to be friends with her. Like, I was renting a chair. I could have just gone, done my work and left. But you just pick up a connection with someone and then you just move on to the next thing. And that's been my hairdressing career.
I fucking love that.
All my hairdressing career has been that. Meeting like certain people and then helping follow a journey. Like, do you remember that bad song, amazing song called Jack Jack Jackie?
Yeah.
We had a salon called Jack Jack Jackie. And it was a good friend of mine called Jackie who opened it. And I followed that story for 8 years with her. You know, and I met her and only worked with her for about a year before that. And I'm like, no, this feels right. I'm going to keep going. And you just keep moving and keep moving. You don't know who you're going to meet. Don't reserve yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely don't know who you're going to meet.
Yeah. Like, I don't believe in bad mouthing people. Like, it's just like,
I think you have to be open to the idea of being like accepting and receiving like new connections as well. You know, like I think a lot of people and look, so I mentioned before we started, like I lived overseas and like
Yes.
then I lived in Perth and like all that type of stuff. And like, so I've always had to make new friends like really quickly and like develop those relationships. And so for me, like meeting new people is just like what I do.
Yeah.
Like, and it's how I kind of, you know, intertwine that into photography and my corporate work and like all this type of stuff. So like it's easy for me, but I can understand if someone has, you know, lived more of a closed life, you know, isolated or whatever, and they only know certain things, or they're influenced by family or friends or social status or finances or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I understand that it can be hard, you know, so that they're not as open, but that shouldn't stop them from like trying.
Yeah.
You got to try to be open
Well,
because you don't know what's going to happen.
exactly. Just, and you want to be that person to help them do it, right?
Yeah.
You want, you're like, you see, it's not really a challenge, but you want to be like, oh, let's just dive in. If you don't like it, we'll dive out. Just dive in. If you're uncomfortable with it, cool. You tried it, you know? And yeah, I'm like that with a lot of people. Like if I see that they've got a weakness or that I want to do something, I push them so hard. Like push them, like, and it can be a simple thing at the gym even. Like I have a training buddy, we're training together. It's like, oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, well, you did it last week. Like, you know,
You did it last week.
yeah. So
Is it on the Fitness Pal app? Have you marked it down?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like you, yeah. If you squatted 100 kilos last week, why aren't you doing it this week?
Yeah.
Like, come on, 1 rep. And then he's like, oh, I guess it was all right. Like, you guess?
My and I don't know if this is right, but this is something that I've tried doing is if I can do 6 or more reps, I can go up 1 more.
I live on the 8 rule. You do 6, I do 8. I like, as soon as I hit 8, I'm like, all right, next one.
Yeah. 8 is good as well.
Yeah.
Like for a long time I used to be like a 10 rep guy.
Yeah.
10 or 12. But now I'm like, nah, like if I can do at least 6, like I'll go 1 more. And it's amazing. Like once you train your brain to think like that, you're not worried too much about the struggle while you're doing it. You're just worried about like that outcome, you know, like the final outcome.
Well, it's what you said earlier, that little bit in the brain that you just, that's what you're teasing it. You're like, come on.
Yeah. Hey, I need to go to the toilet.
Oh my God, go for it.
We'll be back.
Yes. Oh, that's funny. Oh.
when you drink too much water,
Oh yeah, you were doing good.
it's like, oh man, like as soon as I wake up, I drink like about a liter and a half,
Yeah,
and then I go to the gym. You drink more water, and it's
Yep.
like, and then you have a coffee, and then you're like, oh my god, I need to go to the toilet, and then like you have a second coffee. And it's like, oh my god.
yes. No, like you did good. You did good. It's like, where's that pause? I just need that pause.
And I'll cut that bit out.
No, that's all. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, actually. Like, so I use AI to do my editing of my
Okay.
podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you find it's amazing, like works well for you?
So, so I've had to edit 2 podcasts manually, and they both kind of went like a little bit over an hour, but the editing took me 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I don't know.
When I use AI, guess how long it reduced it, or guess how long it took me. So from 4.5 hours down to what?
45 minutes?
No.
Less? Really? Like 15? 10? 3? 5?
32 seconds.
Okay.
It's madness.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
the ability to like switch, because like obviously I got like a 2 camera setup, and
Yeah.
the switching of the audio is matched with the switching of the video, and it's the switching of the video that it goes like just like cuts through it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, mate, it's just nuts. The use of AI wouldn't really impact.
You'd be surprised.
Really?
No, you'd be surprised. I'm going to say it again. It's Instagram versus reality.
Gotcha.
Okay. You see, and a lot of people don't see it, but when you're a hairdresser, etc., been doing it for a while, and someone gets their phone out and be like, I want this. And you're looking at it going, that's not real. You know, it's like, yeah, it's achievable, but realistically, no. Like it's so overdone. It's everyone lives in filters. It's over filtered, etc. So AI is amazing with hairdressing if you want to figure things out, and it'll work it out for you. We tested it. We're like, okay, if someone wanted to go blonde from this color, what would the process be? And in detail, within seconds, it told you the correct formula, everything, which is awesome. But the scary part for me is like, yeah, people, you look at something and you're just like, that's not even a real person. It's a robot. It's an AI figure made up, and people think it's real.
I didn't think of it from that perspective, but that's so true. Like people will obviously get an idea of what they want to look like based on something that's not real.
Yeah. And
they'll come to you and be like, hey, I want to look like this.
Well, you just need to bring them down to reality. Like I said, it's possible to do it. It will be, but I guarantee your hair will not probably do it in one hit. You know, like, and I'm talking about people who have been black for decades and all of a sudden want to have this amazing fluorescent, amazing color, like variety of colors. And cool, you can do it. It can be done, but not exactly like that in the first sitting. Maybe 3 sittings, you're going to get it. And when you say that to them, it's like reality hits. It's like, okay. You know, if you know them well and they know you, they're fine with it.
Yeah.
But if it's a brand new client, you know, and I'm just like, it's unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
And you as a hairdresser really have to communicate that. I used to have that mistake growing up as a hairdresser. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that because I just want to impress.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, it didn't work. You know, it's like, oh my God, like I'm going to have to fix this. And you work it out. But as you mature, it's just like, be honest, just say, and I find with AI, it's very hit and miss. Hit and miss. AI scares me. I'm not going to lie. It does scare me. Like some part I see the benefits, but I also see a lot of people losing jobs. I see a lot of like, I think in Japan they try to make a robot cut hair. I'm like, and that doesn't surprise me, you know? And I'm like, okay, if that's already happening, you know, and I'm not sure if you've gone to the latest NGV like art gallery, but there was those robot dogs walking around, like it was very Black Mirror vibes. And I'm like, okay, that's just picked up on my sensor, and this dog is painting a masterpiece on a wall, and it's a computer. It's scary.
Yeah, it is scary, but
it's cool. It's amazing, but it's scary.
Yeah, what I've picked up is it's only really going to get scary once it can think for itself.
Oh.
Because at this stage, it still needs input from a human.
Yes.
Right. And so, like ChatGPT, for example, ChatGPT only ChatGPT references all of the information on the internet, and it references all of the answers that it's already given, and it references all of the questions that's already been asked, which is why they say never ask ChatGPT don't give it any personal information about yourself.
No.
Because if you do, that information becomes available to other people.
Exactly.
Right. So, yeah, like they say that, like, if you want a very general doctor's diagnosis, you can go to ChatGPT and ask it, and it'll give you a very general answer. Right. And so it's very like non-fiction, like reference based.
Yes.
So once AI can start thinking for itself, then we're fucked.
Yeah, I've seen Terminator.
Yeah, Skynet was supposed to be launched this year.
Yeah, I heard about that. But it's always the what ifs. It's always the what ifs, you know. I mean, fingers crossed we won't be in the generation that we're living in at the moment. But
yeah, well, but my time will be gone.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, that's fine. It's fine. But I like technology moves forward so far, and it is amazing. Like, who knows? Like, you could probably use ChatGPT to create an amazing color formula to make coot that you would never think of.
Yeah,
and you know, it is amazing for things like that. I think I'm just too old school. I'm just like, and I hate saying it, but I'm just more like, especially with musicians writing a song.
It's not that you're old school; you're vintage.
Yeah, I'm vintage. Yes. I'm a fine wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But writing a song, perfect example. I know so many musicians now that ask ChatGPT, this is the feelings I'm feeling. This is that, and it writes them a song.
Isn't that cheating?
Like that? It is. It is. But you see it, but then you see like all the ones that are just really trying to do it and connect, like, and you as a musician, if you're trying to bring out your own song, you want to explain to the whatever crowd is in the audience, this is my inspiration for that song. Like
it comes down to the authenticity, right?
Exactly, and people connect to it like that. Like, people get tattooed song lyrics on themselves, you know, and obviously it means something to them. And like, I would feel so bad. Like, if I listen to a song, right, like one of my favorite artists will like bring out this song, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, that meant something. I'm getting it tattooed. Then find out, oh yeah, that was done through ChatGPT. I would get that lasered in a second. It had no meaning to it. It I don't know. It had a meaning to me, but I'll be like, no. Like,
well, it's a little bit like Milli Vanilli, right?
Oh. Blame it on the rain.
It's a little bit like what happened to them. They got caught out for miming.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hang on a minute, that ain't even you. Yeah. Or like, you're not even singing it. Like, it could be you in the recording studio, but you're not even singing it, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit like that, the authenticity of the experience.
Yeah, I'm just ahead of time. But
they were really ahead of time.
Yeah. Have you seen the video of them trying to sing? They actually get a vocal coach, and the vocal coach gives up on him. It's the one. If I find it, I'll send it to you. It is the funniest scene I've seen. I'm just like, they're trying so hard.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and he's like, you don't have it. You just don't have it. And he walks off.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally not surprised.
It's so funny. Oh, it's great. But yeah, ChatGPT. Yeah, it's look, I'm glad it's out there, and I'm sure
Yeah.
one day I'm going to use it and be thank God. But at the moment, I've got to be honest, I have not like physically used it. I've seen people use it. I've talked to people who've used it, and they love it, and I get it. But a part of me is like, we're just going to start turning into a reliant, and we're just going to want it. We're going to forget ourselves. If everything, it's just going to be an addictive thing because we won't think for ourselves. Oh, I don't need to think about this.
Well, you know, we're lazy.
Well, that's what I mean. And especially if I'm a professional procrastinator. What is the quickest way I can do this food? Like, you know,
There's that Ronnie Chen special on Netflix where he talks about Amazon and Amazon Prime and Amazon Prime now.
Yeah.
And then Amazon Prime like yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's like, Amazon Prime needs to get to a point where it actually knows what I want in my mouth and then it's automatically there.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like it's funny. Like one thing I've noticed with hairdressing, not just hairdressing, with every experience, you've probably noticed it as well, is people, once we get spoiled with one thing, we want more.
Yeah.
And we want something tomorrow. Like Amazon's the best example. When Amazon first came out, oh my God, it would take months to get a package. Sometimes weeks, sometimes months, depending where it's coming from. You can get it the same day to literally like, and it's crazy. And people want more of that. I want faster internet. I want faster this. ChatGPT's out now. It's a human nature.
Amazon used to be books.
Just books.
Just books.
I remember. Yeah. It was crazy.
And like Netflix used to be a mail order DVD service.
Yes.
Right?
This is what I mean. People just want to keep.
Yeah. And then just through times and changing, like if organizations don't adapt, then they don't kind of like stick with the times. And so that's what Netflix did. That's what Amazon did, you know? And I'll admit I do have a bit of an Amazon problem.
Yeah,
because I do have Amazon Prime and I do get deliveries on the same day.
Why not?
So I have to not look at Amazon in the morning because I know that I'll buy something and I'll get it that night.
Yeah.
But it just saves me having to go somewhere.
But how frustrated are you if it doesn't come that next day? You know you're going to get it, but you know what? We ran out of stock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Happened to me.
Sometimes. So when I go to checkout and it says arriving 9 p.m. that night, and then at lunchtime I get an email saying it's coming tomorrow, I'm like, motherfucker.
Right?
Like,
this is why I got it.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, because I actually needed it that night.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, right.
I didn't need it that night. Yeah, you have like that expectation.
We do. We do.
I do. Like so I had to take some headphones back to Apple because they weren't kind of like connecting.
Yeah.
And the guy said to me, he's like, oh, so this was on Thursday, and he said, oh, look, we'll probably send them off on Monday, but you'll get like a text message and you'll get all of the notifications on where things are at and all of that. And he's like, it could be like 5 to 7 days till we get them back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was Thursday. I got a text message Friday. They're already being looked at.
Okay.
They had to go to Sydney.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, mate, you just like blew the expectations out of the water.
Yeah. And that's what people want these days. You know, it's Apple used to be the service. It's like, oh, my phone's broken. Oh, is it? There you go.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Like you can just take it in and like we are so superior that we don't believe that it's broken. Here's a new phone.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And people relied on it. It became genius. It's just like, oh my God. Like it's like, that's one of the reasons I went to Apple. I'm like, shit, my phone's broken. I get a new phone.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So what inspires you, or where do you take inspiration from?
For hair?
Yeah.
It's funny. Inspiration for hair is usually through a conversation, I find. It always used to be like, if someone wanted something super colorful, right? I would look around the room. So I'm looking around your room now, and like that's blue and pink, well, right? And I'm looking at them like, you know what? The way the blue and pink intertwine with each other would look so cool on you. Like just like starting off pink, coming out to blue, and then the next one will be starting off blue, coming out to pink, and you get that 3D effect. How awesome would that look? But that's just from looking at a random object in the room. Back in the day, it used to be like sort of like looking through magazines, and you're like, oh, how's that? Or you always have an influencer that you want to look like. There's always something. There's an actor, there's a singer, there's an Instagram influencer. There's always someone that someone wants to be or have similar to. Like I'm guilty. You said you said Michael Hutchins earlier. Like, yeah, okay, cool. He's got a cool look. I'm not lying. This is one of the reasons I've grown my hair.
Yeah.
I've cut my hair heaps of times.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, it's cool, but it's not me. You know, things like that. Like Jason Momoa, same thing. He's got longish hair. I'm like, you find something you love, and of course you don't want to mimic it, but you've got inspiration from it.
Yeah, you take it, you create it as your own.
Yeah. So, and that's what I would do. So if I would look at your hair, right, and this is the first thing I look at with your hair. Now I've started watching Shinobi, like on Disney Plus.
Shogun, sorry. Shogun.
Oh, my bad. Shinobi's the video game.
Yeah.
I started watching.
Shogun.
So now I'm not going to want to shave your head in the middle and have your ponytail, but just seeing that awesome samurai vibe, like a modernized version of that will look cool. Like, you know, like still keep that tied up bit, but let's have like a really awesome, like, shaved undercut into a V into the back or something, just to make it look sick. So when you wear it down, it'll look awesome when you wear it up. And that's an inspiration right there.
Yeah.
You know, I just grab a bit of this and a bit of that and put in a pot. And let's see what I come up with, you know?
That's fucking cool, but I ain't shaving the sides of my
No.
head.
No. I'm not saying we would, but that's that's the first thing that comes in my mind.
It's funny, when I shaved the facial hair off, I got so many comments from people like, oh no, the samurai's gone.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, because that's your signature piece. It's your signature piece. And that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it. I'm like, yeah, sick.
Yeah. Because I had like this bit here, and I could like really kind of like, it was like
wow.
down there.
You're like full on wise man.
Yeah, full on Fu Manchu.
Yes.
But I just replied with, don't worry, the samurai will be back.
Yeah. You got to do it though. You're like the 1 minute you just want that change. You want that shock. You want, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I do it. I regret it. Like my eyebrows are like, they're literally, if you look at my eyebrows, I got caterpillars, you know, they're cocooning. So I need something to like have something there. Otherwise it's like butterfly.
It doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, not that bad. No. When you get told you look like John Stamos from the 80s, I'm a bit like, oh, yeah, now you can't unsee it.
Oh, is that who your doppelganger is?
Apparently.
Okay.
That's what I got told.
Okay.
At one time I was cleanly shaven, had my longish hair with obviously the eyebrows, and it was like, oh, like that guy from Full House.
Full House, yeah.
It was a bit of a heartthrob. I'll take it, but
yeah,
cringing, dying on the inside, right?
Well, I get Keanu Reeves. I get Jason Momoa.
Nice.
I get Conrad. I actually can't remember his last name. He's in that TV series How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh.
Yeah, Conrad. What I don't know.
I see it.
Yeah. And then I used to get. So funny story. So I used to work at Australia Post at head office.
Okay.
And when I first started there, one of my work colleagues was like, "Hey, I saw you down at Kmart. What were you doing at Kmart?" And I'm like, "No, it wasn't. Wasn't that Kmart?" And they're like, "Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were at Kmart." I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure I wasn't."
Yeah.
"No, do you see any shopping here?" Like, "No, I wasn't at Kmart." But this was around the time when that English celebrity had a Kmart campaign.
Okay.
Gok One.
Mm-hmm. I remember. My God.
And I was like, I do not look like Gok One. And I'm like, I'm slightly taller and slightly bigger built than him. What are you talking about? But then my first real kind of like, I guess, doppelganger experience screwed me because I came to Melbourne in 2001.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go out anywhere without someone saying, hey, you're that guy.
Oh, here we go.
You're that guy that won Celebrity Big Brother. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
You wouldn't play with it. You wouldn't just be like,
No.
there's that little part of you being like, of course.
Yeah, look, at the time I was like, I thought it was just such a fucking inconvenience. But when Dylan Lewis won the first ever Celebrity Big Brother, that crushed me.
Yeah. It would. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's funny. Like, people see as this persona are like, my funniest story was, this is when Russell Brand was big. Like, big. Like, when he first came out, like, he did Big Brother back in the day. And also what would have been like 2004, 5, 6, somewhere there. And I remember I was out one day, like one night, we were just having a few drinks with some friends and all that. Now, one of my friends works for advertising and all that. So she's on the ball. She's quite quick. She's sort of like the Don Draper of like her advertising business.
Nice.
Now, we're having some drinks and all that. And she's like, I'm just going to do a social experiment. I want to see how well it goes. Just play along with it and just put it on an English accent. I'm like what? She's like, you're drunk enough. You can do this. And all that. I'm like, all right. So we're having a few drinks, whatever else. And she's just like, sorry, you just need to make way. I've got like Russell Brand's stunt double in here, like right now. And he needs a drink and all that. And they're like, oh my God, what? It's like, yeah. And they're turning around. They're like, oh my God, I see it. And all of a sudden, everyone thought I was Russell Brand's stunt double for that movie, Get Him to the Greek, whatever it's called. And I'm just like, oh my God, what are you doing to me? And you had to play along with it. And so I'm like, you know what? I can do this. I can put in an English accent, and like, I can't do it now, but and all that. And people would buy me drinks left, right, and center, and everything. She goes, God, people are stupid. And
I mean, at least she like prefaced it as you're his stunt double.
oh yeah, she wasn't going to do the thing, but just the fact that people do that, because as soon as you say like a stunt double, they're like, oh my God, you could be that person.
Yeah.
And I just, you know what? At first it was uncomfortable, and after a while I'm like, I'm getting free drinks. This is amazing. Like, I was waiting for this VIP room.
just roll with it.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, wow. Like, wow, is this... And she's like, yep, social experiments. I love doing them all the time. And she was sober. She was stone cold sober. That's what pissed me off.
Wow. That's even worse.
Yeah.
It's like she saw it straight away.
Yeah, she's just like...
She's like, yeah, we can like play on this.
Yeah. I'm just like, wow.
It's actually pretty smart.
It was a cool story. And you know what? I'll take that as a compliment. Like, if I want to look like Russell Brand, I'm like, awesome. I'll take that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Funny.
So how can people find you?
You know what? I've got everything on my socials.
Yeah.
So mostly it's Instagram, like
Yeah.
Hair by Anton, etc.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of rebranding myself because I'm going to move to a creative space. I want to change everything up. So what I'm going to be doing is, this salon I'm going to be working in, we all have nicknames. So there's going to be like the hair wizard, hair ninja, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So mine used to be Hair Savior Anton. That's the way we came up with it years ago. So now it's going to be called Hairdresser by Day, Rockstar by Night.
Wow.
So that's what we're changing it to, and everything's just going to be taking it from there. So mostly Instagram. All my details are there. A lot of people just send me a text, but I'm usually word of mouth. I'm all about word of mouth. I'll take it as a compliment, but when you rent a chair, walk-ins come in. If you're working in another salon, you're not going to get that walk-in. So it's just being smart and getting people to ask for Anton.
Exactly.
So that's
exactly
future-wise. Yeah, be on Chapel Street. The details will come out soon.
But hair by Anton.
Hair by Anton
for now.
For
if
now.
you want to catch Anton and get one of his magnificent masterpieces of hair. Could be 4, 6, 8 hours. It's up to you whether or not you want a whole rebrand.
Just depends what you want. But yes, yeah, it's funny when it comes to advertising myself. I'm a bit reserved. I'm a bit like get all
Yeah.
turn into a turtle and shy away.
It's because you're humble.
Well, that's all it is.
You,
But
you don't like talking about yourself.
I hate talking.
Although we've just been talking for an hour and 39 minutes.
I know, right? Right. It's just been a constant flow of this awesomeness. It's been great.
But that's because you're such a fucking interesting dude, man.
Oh, we all are. We all
Yeah.
are. So take the compliment. Oh my God. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming along
Yeah,
and having a chat.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the experience. And the timing couldn't be any better. Like, I love it. Thank you.
Fantastic. If you do your launch and you want someone to come and like interview on launch day, I know a good guy that's got an interview.
It's happening. I know a guy knows a guy. It's happening.
Nice.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I appreciate all your time.
Yeah,
been great.
fantastic. Awesome. Thanks everyone for listening in. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button, and I'll catch you guys all on the next one.